Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to society. And we are from Group 1 BGN292 AP116 4B. And today we will present about partial collapse of a building under construction at 2929 Brighton 5th Street, Brooklyn, New York on 8 November 2011. And this tragedy caused 1 worker killed and another 4 workers badly injured when the structure fell. And this is our group member. There are 6 of our group member, and for the next video will be about case elaboration.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Zafira binti John Ahmad. I will present about the case elaboration about the collapse of a building at the Brooklyn, New York. The building was collapsed while it's under construction because of the failing maintenance the stability of the structure. All the joints at the 3rd, 4th, and 5th floor of the front bay were hinged and had limited flexure stiffness. Also, the front bay were split from the center of the structure due to the overload. Next is the building itself show poor quality, which easily to contribute to the collapse. Lastly, other than misconduct of the standard operating procedures and contract drawing, the contractor also failed to produce the detailed drawing of the building, including shops, structural steel, metal desks, C-joints, and reinforcing steel. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hey to society, my name is Sharon Beatrice binti Jirin. I will continue on for this topic case elaboration. Based on the photo above, it shows the destruction of the front bay, which resulted on the death of a worker and some injured workers. To be exact, few hours before the accident, the concrete has been poured onto the 4th floor. Despite seeing the floor swaying unsteadily, the workers did not alert the superiors or take action of the situation because they realized it does not bring difficulty to the work. However, when they proceed pumping the concrete onto the 3rd floor, the weight of the floor above pulls the pressure. This shows the team's failure on communicating well with the engineers and does not follow the drawing properly. The structural engineer has repeatedly denied his approval on the change of measurement for the works involved, which does not based on the original drawings. Next, the investigation of the accident found that the securing of the metal decks to the C-joints was mostly using the nails instead of the screws for most part of the location. This lack of proper materials and tool usage and how it affects the stability of a structure caused the death and the injuries of the workers. From the very start, there were already some issues that were not addressed between the structural engineer and the contractor. The structural engineer was worried about the sewer line crossing the property below the foundation level. There were already questions raised at the time of his visit about the pouring of the foundation regarding the helical pulse. A telephone pole existed in the middle of the structure, which was left as it was erected around it. The structural engineer also objected about the telephone pole but was being ignored. Therefore, we can conclude from this case elaboration that the contractor has to refer again and again from the drawings, have proper communication with the structural engineer, and seek consultation or confirmation before proceeding with the work. To get a job nicely done should include overall safety, precaution, approval, and proper guidelines to avoid deadly matters.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Azir Aikal bin Mustafa, and I will be presenting about the possible cause of the incident that occurred at Brighton, Brooklyn of New York. There are 4 possible causes that may be the reason of the death of a worker and has caused the 4 other workers to injury. The first main mistake is due to failing in maintaining the stability of the structure. The structure of the building was not as strong in stability as it should be because all the joints of the front bay at the third, fourth, and fifth floor at the west side were found hinged. Even these small things should have been taken seriously to avoid any unwanted things from happening. The next one is the quality of the construction is very poor, and that is highly contributing to the collapse of the building. The construction site should have been clear from any unwanted structure such as vegetation and debris. In this case, there is a telephone pole standing in the middle of the building and is placed around concrete floor. This also should have been taken seriously enough to avoid any unexpected things to happen at the work site. Besides that, the plans are not as planned and not under schedule. The work at the construction site should have been followed as planned, but the work of the construction at the place where the accident happened does not follow the schedule as it should. For example, the workers started to pour the concrete despite the concrete works not planned on the day of the building collapse. It should have been followed as what has been scheduled of the site works because the schedule has been managed perfectly to make sure the quality of the work is at its best and not in a hurry. Lastly, the workers do the work without being under supervision of the contractor. All the work at the site must be under supervision most of the time during all the phases of the construction to make sure the work is being done properly and the workplace is always safe for the worker to work. Before the building collapse happened, there were workers on every third, fourth, and fifth floor. At that time, all the workers should have been under supervision to guarantee the safety of the worker at the workplace. Contractor is the one who is fully responsible for everything that happened at the site, such as methods, supervising, planning, executing, leading, and inspecting the construction. But from what we see, the contractor is not doing his job well enough as we caught a lot of mistakes and it has affected the quality of the construction to be very poor.
Okay, next, my name is Noamira Fatin Mustafa, and I will present about precautions, safety, and correction measure. First, educate every worker in the workplace. They should know about safety requirements. In this situation, in our reports, the workers merely keep working despite the fact that they knew something was wrong with the structure at the front bay. If they think anything is wrong on the job site, workers should be alert and awake, but many choose to keep silent rather than alert the contractor or engineer in charge of the structural building. And then always keep the communication lines open between the contractor and the engineer. In this scenario, the contractor should be made responsible for the building collapsing since he made the decision without consulting the structural expert, the engineer. The contractor claimed by himself that the structural engineer approved the change, but structural engineer denied this. Without any understanding of structural design, the contractor should not take a shortcut to accomplish the buildings. For instance, the contractor made mistake by at some location nails were used to secure the metal deck to the C-joist instead of screw, and then the contractor substitute exterior heavier studs on second and third floor with lighter stud 16 gauge instead of the specified 14 gauge as indicated on the structural drawing by the structural engineer.
Good evening, my name is Shalene Magdalene Anna Franciscan, and here I will be present about my point on precaution, safety and correction measure. The third point is be alert to the hazard that could affect anyone. According to the study, the contractor involved in the construction did not have any consultation with the workers involved. As a result, hazard occurred without the knowledge of any party. This is one of the hazards that may be seen not only by eyes but through action. Based on the report, the concrete pouring began on the 4th floor. Meanwhile, on the 3rd floor, the concrete will be poured shortly after the lunch break. Worker who currently spreading concrete on the 4th floor while the concrete began to be pumped on the 3rd floor. By those unseen hazard action, it's lead to the construction failure and killed one of the worker and 3 other workers have suffered injury. To conclude, it is important that we identify the hazard that might be impact various party, and since this affect a person's life, collapsing structure may be replaced with money and be rebuilt, but this is not the case with human life. The next point is invite and involve your employees in safety planning. The Occupational Safety and Health Act 1970 established the Occupational Safety and Health Administration (OSHA) to guarantee the employees' safety and health while in the construction site. Everyone in the construction industry, regardless of rank or position, must comply with every OSHA regulations. This is due to the fact that every OSHA Act reminds us of the significance of keeping ourselves and others safe. OSHA developed rules and regulations based on workplace research and feedback from the technical expert, employees, and other stakeholders. OSHA also provided training and resource to companies and workers to help them comply with its rules and regulation. Besides, OSHA is obligated to describe the method, equipment, and training that employers and employees must use to eliminate danger and guarantee safety measures. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Fakul Adli from Group AP164B, and today we present about the conclusion. In conclusion, the workers should follow the safety procedure to avoid injuries and casualties, including the management. This case study also helped us learn from prior construction-related accidents regarding safety, health, and be able to propose potential precautionary safety and clarification measures in order to resurrect the project and learn from the occurrence. The accident of building collapse can be avoided by having a safe procedure applied at the work site. Accident can be happen at the workplace at any time, and that's why these small mistakes do matter to ensure nothing bad will happen. Safety of the workers and also safety at the workplace should have always become a priority in every site work. All workers should have followed all the safety instruction at the workplace because the risk of getting harmed at the worksite is very high. We hope that the accident that is caused by mistakes that should have not been done at worksite will not repeat. Hopefully, this will help us to avoid any unnecessary accident during construction in future. That's all.